Good morning. Hope you've all had a lovely weekend, and we're back to the business. We're doing some problems of the day. Here's our maths problems of the day. We've got three questions. One of them to do with fractions. It should be really easy to do the one with fractions. The other two, I don't think they're difficult, but we'll take you through them a bit at a time. So let's have a look at this first one that we're going to have a look at now. The first one is about a rectangle. We know the rectangle is 12 centimetres long. We also know from the actual question that the perimeter of the rectangle is 36 centimetres. What is the area of the rectangle? In this question, we got two concepts, two ideas. We've got the idea about perimeter, and we've also got the idea of area. And to be able to answer this question, you need to know both ideas and what they mean. So let's have a look at this question and see if we can solve it. Right, so I'm going to use a whiteboard now. Here's my whiteboard with a rectangle. And what do we mean by a rectangle? Well, a rectangle is a two-dimensional shape. It's a flat shape. It's got four sides. It's got four angles, and all of those angles are what we call right angles. That means they're 90 degrees. So this one is 90 degrees, this one is 90 degrees, this one is 90 degrees, this one is 90 degrees. It's got four right angles. The sides of a rectangle, we know that opposite sides are equal in length. So those two that I'm pointing at the moment are the same length as each other, and these two are the same length as each other. And if you've got that, you have a rectangle. So four angles, all 90 degrees, all right angles, and then four sides, opposite sides are equal, you will have a rectangle. Okay, so now with our question, we know a little bit about the rectangle. So we know that, let me just check what it said. It said 12 centimetres. Yeah, so we know that the length of this side is 12 centimetres. We also know, because of that, what this side is. Because if that's 12 centimetres and this is the same, we know that this is also going to be 12 centimetres. Now, the thing that it asked us about is talk about the perimeter, is our question, one of our questions. If the perimeter of this shape, if the perimeter equals 36 centimetres, what is perimeter? Well, perimeter is the distance all the way around the outside of a shape. So it means it's this length, and this length, and this length, and this length. Okay, so it's all the way around from one point all the way around the outside to another part. Now we know what two of those lengths are already. We know this one is 12 and this one is 12. So 12 and 12 is 24. So all together, already, just with those sides, we've got 24 centimetres. But we know we've got to have 36. So these two will add up to the rest of what you need to make 36. So 24 centimetres, add this and this, will give you 36 centimetres. And that will be your perimeter. How can we do that? Well, let's suppose we call this side A and call this one side B. We know that if I was to do a bar model, because I know you like bar models, we know that the whole perimeter, excuse the mess, is 36 centimetres. We know that the two sides that we got already are 24 centimetres. The rest is that, but there's two of them down the middle. Okay, so you should be able to work out what the A and B is going to be. So there's A and there's B. Okay, I don't think I'm going to say too much more about the rectangle problem and perimeter. Apart from talking about area. Now, area is another way of measuring the size of a shape. Size of the shape, when we talk about area, is the amount of surface that it covers. The amount of surface. And because we're using centimetres in here, our area is going to be in centimetre squared. Okay? Centimetre squared. So we got to work out our area in centimetre squares. And what that means, imagine having our centimetres marked on here. Every centimetre you are going to have a square. Excuse me, these aren't all the same size. Just a bit of a rush. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, so we'd have 12 of our square centimeters going, but because we don't know how long this is yet, because we've not worked it out, we don't know how many there's going to be going up there. But if you fill all that out in squares, however many there are, you've got an array of squares. And what you'll find is that the area is going to be the length of this side times the length of this side. So the area of your shape equals, the area of your shape equals length times width. Length times width will give you area. That's all the help you're getting with question number 1. Hopefully you will all manage to do that. Second question. Oh, I do like the second question. Once again, I'm going to use bar model. Let's have a look at it first. There are 80 red and blue counters in total. That means some of the counters are red, some of the counters are blue. We don't know how many of them are, but we know that there's 80 all together. There are 12 more red counters than blue ones. So there's more red. How many more? 12 more. And that's our question. How many red counters are there? So let's have a look at what I've done. I've thought to myself, okay then, here's our bar model. 80 counters altogether for the cube. But then we're thinking about it that we've got our red counters and our blue counters. We've got more red counters than blue counters, but we don't know how many there are. But we do know how many more. The extra is 12 more. So let's put those 12 onto here. Okay, so I've got 12 here. And then that means if I take those off of there, now, I've got my red counter, the rest of the red counters, and the rest of the blue counters. So these are 12, remember, these are red ones, those extra 12 red ones. But these red blue counters and the rest of the blue counters are the same amount as each other. And they will take up the rest of those. So this, add 12 equals 80. Okay? So what could this be? And once we've worked out what that is, if we then half it, we'll get the blue counters and the rest of the red counters. Okay? But don't forget, when you are giving your answer, it's asking you how many red counters. It's those and the extra 12. Don't forget to add on the extra 12 as well at the end. Okay, hope that helps you with question number 2. I liked question number 2.